and he's going to go through life not caring about the feelings and the effects of his actions on others, right? And many of us men, we can all say we've been there at some point, right? But we crossed that barrier of becoming whole men, right? And marrying our traumas and our emotional issues to our physical capabilities and our will and our destiny and our goals, right? And we become whole men. So with that whole man point of view, you have empathy now. Jarvis Mate Podcast or Jarvis Mate Podcast. Why is he whispering? The reason I'm whispering is because it's the best kept secret. You know why? It's basically a real reality show of a real guy in his real life in a real van, really driving, saying things he really thinks about things he probably shouldn't talk about, right? And it's not scripted, and it's not politically correct, and it's exactly as it's meant to be, just real, true and authentic. So if you like things like this, you should probably like, subscribe and share, and it not only helps me, it helps people like me, people that make real content like me, and you also help to keep freedom of speech free. Why? Because we're keeping it real, right? No one's paying me to have these views. No one can convince me otherwise, right? Well, you know what I mean. No one can convince me to or not to, but who cares, right? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the show. The last few episodes we've done have been absolute baggers, right? I'm not just saying that because I'm the guy doing it, right? On the watch back, it has been a good laugh, right? So I hope you enjoy the previous episodes. If this is your first time seeing this, I hope you like it, but don't judge the show of this episode, right? Every episode is different. Now, we're in season 3, I believe. If you go back and see the early couple of episodes of season 3, right? Especially the science faction and a few other ones, you'll see what I mean why I say they're baggers, right? But I hope you appreciate that and enjoy the show. But let's go. What we got today?
When a man is broken, he can destroy everyone around him by what he does. When a woman is broken, she can destroy everyone around her by what she says. That's why for a man, self-control is his greatest power. And for a woman, silence is hers. When a man has...
Okay. Let me wet my palate. Try and get the lip smacking, right? What have we got here? What does she say, basically? Let me try and summarize, like, as if I'm actually paying attention. As if you're actually paying attention. Because I know it's not what you're really here for anyway. But what does she say? When a man is broken, right, he destroys everything around him through his actions, basically. And when a woman is broken, she destroys everything around her through her speech, right? I get the point, right? But obviously this isn't provable. This is just pseudoscience and opinions of people based on God knows what nonsense. But anyway, that's for you at home, right? I hope you join me and do one as well, right? Because better out than in, like Shrek says, right? I'm always like completely degraded from the subject matter, right? And just going off topic. This crazy trying to drive into me. Good God. But anyway, right? Do I think that's true? To an extent, yes, but I think it's interchangeable too, right? The actions of women can be just as dangerous and damning to people around them as their speech, and the speech of men can be just as dangerous and damning to the people around them, just like women, right? But she kind of has a point now. As we've discussed in Gossiping Peasants, I think it's season 2, right? Gossiping Peasants. Communication is obviously, it's a thing that's shared by both male and female species, right? But as humankind, right, women tend to dominate communication in interpersonal relationships, right? Not so much on the world stage with like politics and poetry and arts and stuff like that, but they dominate communication and interpersonal relationships, right? Family building, community building stuff, right? Now, yes, it could be said a woman is more likely to communicate her issues than take action, but through her communication she manipulates the situation to get the outcome she wants, right? That's a perspective. Now, a man may try to achieve the same thing through his communication, but he's more likely to take action, right? If he's angry about something, he's more likely to do something physical about the thing he's angry about, and if there's a solution to his problem, it's more likely to be something physical that he's gonna actively do, right? He's less likely to call someone if they're not a specialist, right? But on the other hand, as a woman, right, and I'm not saying all women, basically. I am generalizing, but just take it with a pinch of salt, right? It's not all women, but a lot of women would achieve the solution or express their emotions on an issue or on a problem, right, through communication. And yes, a woman's greatest tool in attacking something or somebody is through speech, right? And of course, if this woman is like just a toxic bad person anyway, chances are she's gone through her life not being accountable for the things she says and does, right? Blaming other people. But yes, a woman can use gossip, slander, accusations, anything you like, right? That comes to do with speech and communication to attack something and break something down, right? Or to galvanize support or proxy violence from other men to go and carry out the actions on her behalf, right? Based off her communication. So yes, that is a thing too, right? And I acknowledge that, and you should probably acknowledge that. If you're not aware of that, you should be aware of that, right? When I say proxy violence, what does that mean? Proxy violence means a violent act, right? It could be done by an average Joe man, it could be done by a police officer, it could be done by the army, it could be done by a politician, right? But what by proxy means, it means the person that sets the action off in motion, right, doesn't actually have to do the violence. Like, for instance, if a woman says, hey, he nicked my handbag, right, and he's running down the street, she could probably tell a guy, and the guy will just run after the guy and tackle him to the ground and take the handbag back, right? Whether he did or didn't take the handbag is another matter altogether. But being able to command men and boys, right, to take action on behalf of a woman from her speech, and a girl, right, from her speech, is what we mean by proxy violence, right? So imagine you and your girl arguing and you're having a bad time in your relationship, right? And for some reason she attacks you in the house, right, but you don't hit her back, right? This is all just random, right? Well, not even random, it's just a scenario. Hopefully it's not real in your life, right? But anyway, say she does physically attack you, right? Because women are initiators of violence in male and female relationships way more than men, right? But that's another topic that we might get into a bit later. But right, say she attacks you physically, right, and you don't attack her, right? You just take the beating. But then, because she couldn't cause the amount of damage to you that she wants, or maybe you didn't take her seriously, or you dismissed her, right? Because women stab men, shoot men, drown men, murder men all the time, right? But anyway, that's another topic. You can see where I'm going with this, right? And it's not like I hate women. I definitely don't hate women. I'm trying to make you understand the point, right? So say she attacks you in the house, right? Bam, 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 she does whatever she does, you argue, right? And then she wants you to leave, right? But you decide not to leave for whatever reason. So she calls the police, right? And she tells the police, hey, this man in the house hit me, right? She could just cry and scream or whatever, or give the address. Police will show up, and if you don't cooperate, or if they deem you as a threat with already biased opinion of their own existing societal biases and the bias of the person that's called the police, right? The police would then take action on her behalf, right? Which is proxy violence, right? Shoot you, handcuff you, beat you up, whatever, right? That is an example of proxy violence. Now that particular example happens quite often in reality, right? Whether we like to admit it or not, we afford women or females a certain sense of valor and virtue, which isn't realistic, right? Because they're human beings. They make mistakes, they do good shit, they do bad shit too, just like men. But we afford them that kind of valor based on the way our society's been set up through history. So just think, you honour your mother just as much as your father, but you know, right, your own dad will tell you, hey, do what your mum tells you to do, or help your mum, right? You get it. That's how we've been like socially indoctrinated to help our sisters and our mothers and our aunties and our nieces and our cousins, right? That's how we've been socially indoctrinated. Now, there's a whole part of that whole structure that comes from a misogynist and chauvinist historical point, right? Which if you go speak to a normal woman, she could probably describe it better, or a feminist could describe it in great detail, right? The pros and cons of it. But anyway, yeah, to break down that matter, right? Politically, historically, women wouldn't have to physically do the violence to their male counterpart or to another man in the street. They could call upon that valor, right? That valor or that virtue, right? Like cashing it in as a token, just off the strength, right? We like women, we love women, right? And we picture them as fragile angels, right? Which they're not, because they'll fuck you up if they're given a chance, right? And that is the point of what she's saying. But because we afford them that, all they have to do historically is just rally the men, right? Or whisper in the ear of their husband, right? And manipulate him through words, through speech, through communication, right? So yes, if a woman is a bad person, right? Just a bad person, take away her sex, her gender, is a bad person, chances are she's gonna cause a lot of problems for the people around her and strangers in life, just through her mouth, right? The things she says, right? Now, if a man is a bad person, a toxic person, away from his sex, chances are he's going to cause problems for people physically, right? He's going to be starting fights for no reason, right? He's going to be, I don't know, he might be abusive, right? He might be criminal, right? He might be dishonest in politics and business, what have you, and it will affect the people around him. But most of the time, like I said, it's all bias anyway, because what she said is not true, it's interchangeable. But just to keep things simple, just to follow that same old patriarchal system of thinking about things, right? Men are like this, women are like that, right? Mars and Venus, right? That is it. A man will cause more harm through his actions, apparently, right? But we understand most of our politicians, most of our great leaders, most of our fucking dictators and criminals and all kinds of powerful figures that call shots through their speech, through their communication, are men too, right? It's the same on the female side, right? I'm pretty sure there's been like ladies like Griselda, right? Mafia or drug kingpin females, right? Real gangsters you wouldn't want to be with, right? In real life, woman or man. This happens on both sides of the fence. Now, the example she just gave, I don't know what place she's speaking from or why she's speaking from it, right? But that all feeds into this current gender inflation, a gender issue inflation online, right? With the red pillars and then your feminists and your right wingers and your liberals, and they're all chiming in to get political agendas off the ground, right? And then it goes into transsexual areas, LGBTQ areas. All of that stems from this age-old, commodifiable gender war conversation, right? Because we get chat shows out of it, we get apps out of it, we get websites out of it, we get blogs, we get content, we get videos, we get clothes, we get political movements, we get marches in the streets, yeah? Anything you like, right? Because it's an easy common denominator, right? X and Y, XX or YY, or however the chromosomes go. I'm not a scientist, right? But that's male, that's female, right? We can go through nature and separate things like that. So it will always be a point of contention, but it will always, to an objective, normal, rational person, be a thing when you look and say, actually, humans are humans, right? Women do bad things, men do bad things, women do good things, men do good things, right? And it's only now with the age of the internet and some of the crazy red pillars and the incelians, right, exposing some of the actual truths, and not just the men's side, right, the femme cells as well, right, and let's just call them the popular girls, right, the hot girl summers of your Instagrams, your Twitters, your YouTubes, your music industry, your entertainment industry, are exposing themselves, right, for their behaviors, their toxic relationships, the way they treat men and things they get away with, right? And it's mostly done through manipulation, through speech, right? The men are no different. They've been manipulating and suppressing women for a long time too, right? So it's like I said, it's not a 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other thing, right? They're both the same thing, right? If that's the right saying. No side is any better than the other, but we need each other to coexist, to move forward as a humanity, as a human race, right? There's no new generations of human beings without male and female interactions, right? It's just impossible. But I don't know, man. I don't know if she's speaking from a woke place, a red pill manosphere kind of space, or appeasing a pick-me kind of space, or maybe just a therapy, like, you know, therapist language, like I've been in therapy language, or I pretend I've been in therapy language, right? If she's speaking from that kind of space. But yeah, human beings are human beings, right? And they do destructive things, and they usually do destructive things by proximity, right? So it's going to be the closest people to them, and if not the closest people to them, whoever they can reach and infect through the internet, through their phone, right, through social media. Of course, if a woman jumps online and slanders a man, right, because of that same old benefit of the doubt, that valor and virtue we afford women, we automatically believe her, right? Even if the man's innocent, even if he's not even aware of the accusation and the public opinion charges brought against him, right? He doesn't have to be. As long as her platform is big enough, she can say and do whatever she wants, right? But like we said, with the advent of social media and people actually researching and pulling up these people, we're seeing a lot more of the lies and the manipulation that's been going on, right? Through that same use of communications to slander and bring down men, right? Now, it's not just... Well, let's take a step back. That's the interpersonal level, right? Men and women in relationships, whether they be making $5,000 a year from the dough or whatever, right? Or 500 grand a year from businesses, right? Men and women have those interactions. Now, if you scale back from that tactic of using speech to break down people and everything around you is not, it doesn't originate from women, although women are the best at it, right? It doesn't originate from them. It's a espionage tactic, it's a political rhetoric tactic. It functions like that, right? So we've all seen like a smear campaign. If you don't know what a smear campaign is, it's basically like, let's say we got figure A, right, is a male, right, and me and you, we're big media conglomerates, we're BBC, we're ITV, we're Channel 4, we're Fox News, we're Sky News, we're all together, right? Over here we've got our newspapers and all of this, right? And not only are we a big media conglomerate, we're all part of a fraternity, and we all work with the communications and the intelligence agencies, right? So figure A over here, right, is saying some things, he's got to a position of power, or he's projected to arrive at some kind of influence and power over people based on his current actions where he is now. So in that espionage format, right, I know it sounds a bit woo-woo, we would already set a honey trap for this guy. So we'll send women to him to finesse him, right, and we'll say, oh, this woman's going to claim a rape case against him, and then this woman's going to claim an underage sex scandal against him, and then this man's going to claim a financial scandal against him, and then this man is going to, you know, on and on, whatever traps they can get you to fall into, right, whether they're true or half truths, right? Us as a big conglomerate, as a media moguls, right, we can break down that individual or that company, we can dismantle it through rhetoric, and not even just through rhetoric, through propaganda. Now, propaganda is a very powerful tool for shaking and moving society and politics from war to marketing, right? To get you to buy this, the reason why this demographic buys this and is projected to look and live and spend like this in the future comes down to the propaganda we produce now. So if we go back to figure A, we're going to break down figure A using speech, right? But not only we're going to break it down using speech, we're going to break him or her down using the actions of our ability to access information technology, right? And print and influence and make movies about this subject, make news headlines about this subject, right? It's all powerful tools of communication. So you can't just look at it from an interpersonal level, from your $5,000 to your 500 grand average woman. It's bigger than that, right? And so are the actions. And of course, I'm speaking from quite a biased place because I'm a man, of course, right? But me personally, I'm kind of up on what some of the female population are doing, thinking, speaking, right? I follow certain people on Instagram, I follow certain people on Twitter, I read certain blogs and posts, right? And I like Kidology's channel, right? If you don't know who Kidology is, she's basically like a South African black girl, right, came over to Britain through the foster care system and is basically enculturated. She's got issues, right, but I like her same way. She's got issues. She had white foster parents and all kinds of things that just kind of effed up her brain, from my opinion and from her own content creation. But she will speak on topics like this as well. And you got, I forget what the other girl's name is, right? But anyway, yeah, there are women out there making full video essays and blog posts and video content about this stuff, right? So it's not, I'm giving you a biased man's point of view, but they could give you the same point of view and say, look, throughout history, right, men have used actions and speech to portray women in this way, right? And then whenever a woman's raised to power in this arena and this influence and starts to change things for other women, a man comes along and does X, Y, and Z. Basically uses the same smear campaign and controlling tactics as we just made an example for women, right? Me, myself, I can't really give you historical females, right? Maybe I can give you like a, I don't know, Maya Angelou, right? A Whoopi Goldberg, yeah, like, I don't know, right? I'm being very, like, not facetious, but very surface level by saying those names in the first place, right? Because they're the exceptions to the rule. There's hundreds of thousands of other women that will never be remembered, but have gone through things that have changed things for women across the world and men. But I don't know how I degenerated into that in the first place. One of the names I was looking for is Marilyn Monroe, right? And actors like Marilyn Monroe. There's another lady that used to wear like a bandana kind of thing, right? And you'll see a lot of women dress up as her today, right? From the 50s and the 30s or wherever she's from, right? But she influenced that as well, right? And Etta, I forget her name. I think it's Etta something. I don't know, I'll remember it when I see it, right? But she's a singer, writer, actor, dancer, performer, right? She's done a lot. But anyway, the point I was making is this, right? Although those women come to certain levels of influence, the unseen hand behind them were men anyway, right? Sorry to say, ladies, but it's true, right? Although this actor said a certain powerful statement in this film, right, in this play, a man wrote it, a man cast her, and all that. Anyway, it's degenerated, isn't it? It's not. I'm not being unbiased. Let's just say it like that. I'm not being unbiased, right? But anyway, through history, men's actions, right, have caused destruction around them, right? Now let's just break it down back to base level, right? So you're an average man, and he's gone through some trauma, some level of bullying, some level of patriarchal suppression, right? Even though we say it's a patriarchy, right, or women say it's a patriarchy, most men cannot exist in the top 10%, let alone the top 50% of men in the world, right? So men are oppressed too. So your average guy, right, he's got his traumas, he's got his bullying, he's got his socio-economical situation, right? Now that man is living a pretty terrible life. So whatever's happening around him, especially in his personal interactions with people, if he's in a bad place, a depressed space, a negative cognitive space, right? A negative mental space, yes, he's going to affect the people around him, right? And he's going to go through life not caring about the feelings and the effects of his actions on others, right? And many of us men, we can all say we've been there at some point, right? But we crossed that barrier of becoming whole men, right? And marrying our traumas and our emotional issues to our physical capabilities and our will and our destiny and our goals, right? And we become whole men. So with that whole man point of view, you have empathy now. And you're more aware of the way your actions make other people feel, the things you say, right? Although you still know you can fall back on that soldier, warrior heart and say, it doesn't matter how you feel. I'm doing this and I'm doing it my way, right? And if you want to come against me, come on, bring it on, right? That's the way most men move through life, right? We affect change through our actions for the most part, right? But then we also affect change and negative change through our speech too, right? And our actions, right? So there's that, yeah? If a man is depressed, chances are he's going to be, that energy, that emotional bandwidth that he's using in the wrong area of his life is going to leak into other things and affect his friends, his family, his relationship, his work, whatever it is he's doing, right? Just like the woman, that seed of envy or that seed of anger and dissatisfaction with their life leaks into gossiping and bringing down other women, hating men as a whole, right? Because a happy woman has no reason to hate men, right? A whole woman is just as much empathetic as a whole man is, right? A broken person doesn't have that wherewithal to be like, hey, it's not all men, right? I've got a bad experience over here and a bad experience over there, but it's anecdotal, right? This guy was good to me, that guy was good to me, right? Do you understand? So just thinking about it like that, yes, but the average broken woman through speech can do terrible things, right? Can mess up business, working environments, can mess up family, home environments, friendship groups, and through a broader lens like social media influencing little girls to do bad things and come up and think in a bad way, other peer groups, just by convincing them that, hey, because I'm hurt, because I'm broken, I've got the loudest voice now, we're going to make things my way, right? And your way isn't a whole way, right? It's not a married psychological and physical aspect of a human, right? It's just a tormented version of one of the two things, right? A traumatized version, right? But then there's that, right? No one is perfect, but everyone that's come to that realization of, hey, I'm not perfect, is striving to be better. And they're the people that make it okay, or make things better for the next generation to be existing in this world, right? And potentially, well, I know this man-woman versus argument is never going to end, right? Because it's too easy. It's low-hanging fruit, especially for the dumb, unintellectual. Which I would consider myself unintellectual. But I'm not that dumb, right? I'm smart enough to see it for what it is, right? I don't think it's ever going to stop. Especially when people can come online and just become famous by talking about relationship stuff, right? They're not going to stop, are they? Or if a particular political party or political agenda can convince a woman or a man to preach this hate amongst women, preach this hate amongst men, to bring in a new law, a new policy, a new identity politics, right? They will, right? Because it's easy. It's an easy binary choice. O or 1, male or female, right? That's a base foundational argumentation for everything, right? But we're still both humans, right? And anyone with any sense can see that, right? All the bad things that happen is to a percentage, and all the good things that happen is to a percentage. It's not whole one or whole the other, right? So yeah, I kind of agree with her, but like I said, I don't know where she's coming from or what her agenda is, the way she's approaching it. So yeah, I'll leave it there, but you let me know what you think. I think this was a little bit too serious, right? I'd hoped to have a laugh like some of the earlier shows in this season, right? Because maybe I will go back to having a laugh more and more, just out there topics, right? But yeah, we never know what's going to happen in this show. We get what we get and we react. That's what makes it real, right? So that's my 2 cents on that, right? You let me know in the comments. Did I overanalyze? Did I actually not pay attention to what she said? Because sometimes when I watch this back myself, I'm like, no, bro, they didn't say that, right? No, bro. But I'm off on a tangent because I'm already existing in this world, in this time, right? So me, 5 minutes from now, might be like, hey, me 5 minutes ago was absolutely wrong about everything, right? So it's just that. I acknowledge that reality too, right? So let me know what you think in the comments, right? Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Can you add a 2 cents into it? Do you think this gender war will ever stop? Or is there always going to be a space for a Just Purley and a Kevin Samuels, right? Is there always going to be space for these kinds of people, right? And there's worse people than them, underneath them and above them, right? But yeah, you let me know what you think, right? When will the war end? When will people get together again, right? You know what I'm saying? Why are we fighting this pointless war, right? We should love each other. Anyways, right? Drivers Mate Podcast. Check out my main channel at CNCCMI. And if you want to watch these seasons, right, and the good exclusive stuff on demand before they come on a YouTube schedule, before they come on your podcast schedule, right, you have to go over to Patreon, right? And I think it's Drivers Mate Podcast or Drivers Mate. You could sign up for like $3 or £1 something if you're in England or Europe. And yeah, you get access to the seasons as they happen, right? And not only that, you can ask me questions and you can request videos be made at certain topics, right? Or there's something you want me to react to, right? And so you can build your own, like, you know like how people used to collect autographs, right? In this day and age, we as people collect content, right? Hey, I'm on this famous person's live, right? And I asked them, can you perform this song? And they said, yeah. And they said my name. And now look, I've got like a digital autograph from this person that cared about me enough to actually make something for me. So I care enough to make something for you. So don't be scared to ask me. And if I do actually care about the subject that you ask me, if it's not something completely stupid, right, which nothing is stupid, but if it's something I actually care about, I'm most likely to oblige, right? And if not, make a video. I will talk to you directly. We can have a dialogue amongst our community if that's what you want to do, right? But big up yourself, right? Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and watch the next video in the Drivers Make Season 2 or Season 3 podcast. You can check out Season 1, but they were mostly just soliloquies, me just telling you what's on my mind, right? I wasn't really trying to entertain you. I was more trying to give you information to help you cut through life a bit quicker than I did, right? That was mostly what Season 1 is, but now it's a real podcast, right? And I'm getting better and better by the day, by the season, and I'm growing, you're growing, we'll grow together. Hey, you might even want to one day do a StreamYard or exclusive Zoom with me and be on the show, right? Or phone in and we just have a bit of banter, we laugh at some stuff, right? You might want to do that, and you can find out if you can do that by DMing me, commenting, sliding in the Patreon messaging system, whatever happens over there. I don't even bloody know, right? I'll just switch on the cameras and talk, right? So anyway, thank you for your time. I appreciate you as always, right? No, let me be more sincere with that. I do appreciate the time you spend watching the show, all the feedback you give, right? People be like, more people should see this, more people should know about this. Thank you, right? That's very kind of you, right? Not for my own ego, but just for the fact that I can keep you company. Like if you're going through a hard time, if you're at work, if you're at the gym, whatever you're doing, right? And you want to hear some guy's voice from a van somewhere, right? Just for the ASMR, just to not feel lonely, right? I appreciate you, right? And I thank you sincerely for choosing me to spend time with, right? Thank you. Anyway, I hope you have a good day. I hope you get the work done. I hope you're staying disciplined, and please keep a smile on your face, right? And don't give up on humans. Don't give up on women if you're a man, and don't give up on men if you're a woman, right? Our person is out there, right? Me included, right? I know I'm in that little bit of a weird zone in life where, hey, who is his wife, right? I don't know either. I haven't found her. I'm looking. So if you are my wife, potentially, pull at me, yeah? See you later.